Oh boy, folks, we got a big one for you today. Look, right up here. This is going to be absolutely amazing. Look, we're going to talk about atomic habits a little bit today, just a little tiny bit. I'm going to introduce you to an incredible human. I mean, absolutely 1 in a trillion. You've never met anybody like her in your entire life. We're going to do that today. We're also going to uncover a few things. We're going to flip over a couple stones, as they say, right? We're going to flip over or flip the rocks, whatever it is. We're going to be doing that with you right here this morning. So it's going to be incredibly impactful. So I'm going to go ahead and do this right now. I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the way. I'm going to say, I need you to share this sucker out. I need you to tag all your friends. If you've watched any of my shows ever before, any of them, and you were like, that was an okay show, or that was a pretty good show, just so you know, all those shows are nothing in comparison to what we're about to bring you today. It is going to be absolutely fire. So I'm glad you're here with me this morning. It's time to rise and grind. Good morning and welcome to #Rise and Grind, the #1 morning show in the world filled with motivation, education, and inspiration. I am your host, Glenn Lundy, husband to 1, father to 8, and the founder of the 800% Club, the club designed to help you unlock your full potential. Each episode is filled with celebrity interviews, inspiring conversations, and the strategies you need to get ahead in your career and your life. So grab your pen and turn up the volume, because it's time to rise and grind. Hey, good morning. How are you, my friend? Dude, today is Tuesday. That's right, Taco Tuesday, April 11th, 2023. And what's crazy is today is the very first and the very last time it'll ever be, ever be April 11th, 2023. So I want to make sure we make the absolute most, and I do mean the absolute most, of this absolutely incredible day. Hey, today is a special episode of #Rise and Grind. I've done hundreds of interviews and met thousands of people over the last 5 years of this show, but today's guest is a rare and unique treat. That's right. You see, this week we've been talking about starting to dive into this book called Atomic Habits, right? Teeny tiny micro decisions made daily that add up to a massive result. Well, my guest today has turned her teeny tiny micro decisions into millions of followers, millions of dollars generated, actually billions for companies all around the world. But most importantly, millions of people have been impacted by the teeny tiny decisions that she's made in her life every single day. So I'm super excited to bring her to you in just a minute here. She is so unique. She is so incredibly passionate. And on top of all that, she has a new book launching today, which I'm excited to introduce you to. But before I introduce you to the great Kim Walsh Phillips, as you can see back here, before I introduce you to her, you know what we got to do on this show. You know we got to do some dancing. Come on now. You know we got to do some dancing. We got to get these bodies in motion. Listen, an object in motion tends to stay in motion. An object at rest tends to stay at rest. I need you to get moving this morning. Fair enough? Come on now. You can hear that? There we go. Let's go. Those of you over on Facebook, I can already tell Facebook's messing with us this morning. We can't have that. All right, so I need you to tag all your friends, those that you know are typically here, those that aren't. Give them a tag. Hit that share button. YouTube, share it out. Twitter, tweet this out into the Twitter spaces, whatever it is that you do over there. Tweet this out. This is the time for that. This is also a time where I want to say good morning to you, and I want you to say good morning to me. Whether you're watching this show live or you're watching on replay, say what's up. I'll say what's up back. Young Johnson, how you doing this morning? Debbie Dowling Waba is in the building. Natasha Smith's in here. I wonder if Kim Walsh Phillips is dancing in the green room right now. I'm going to check. I wonder if she's dancing back there. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Kim Walsh Phillips is in the building. She's dancing back there in the green room as well. We've got the Global Women Wealth Warriors up in here. Nathaniel Banks is in the building. What's up, Sean Weatherby? Great to see you. I see Marilyn Wilkin. I see Ramon Ray is in the building. Sarah Holland from across the pond. Sarah, we got to connect. We got to make that happen. We got to do it today. Vicky Everett is in the building. Jeff Moffitt, my guy Scott Simons, Dora Maria. I see Christina. I see Sankey. I see Patricia and Arpit. I see my guy John Paul Gidre. He says, giddy up. It's time to go. Great to see you, John Paul. I see Ricardo's in the building. Allison's in the building. Mignon is in the building. Andrew's in the building. Sheila is up in here as well. Michael Barrett, I'm so glad you're here. Charisma Jules, thanks for joining us right here on hashtag Rise and Grind. Russell Hill is in the building. Valerie Oakley. Okay, now I see it. Facebook's letting the stream out now. I see you guys pouring in here. There you are. I was wondering what the heck was going on. I'm so glad you're here with me this morning. Hey, I love hanging out virtually with people. It's amazing. But I also like hanging out in person. This week, Dallas, Texas, the Champions Business Conference, April 13th and 14th. That's Thursday and Friday. You still got time. Grab a ticket, Becky Buckholtz. Meet us over there in Dallas. It's going to be absolutely amazing. I'm going to be there. Ramon's going to be there. My guy Trevor's going to be there. Hi, Liza Borges. Great to see you this morning. We're going to have an amazing time in Dallas. So I want you there. If you can make it, it would be amazing. It would be super cool. It's this week. You don't want to miss it because you're going to have all kinds of crazy FOMO. You know it's going to happen. So you might as well come join us. All right. Hey, also, quick little side note. If you're in the market for a new or used vehicle, our 800% Club, we now have a website, 800eliteauto.com. On that website right there, shop.800eliteauto.com, you can shop all of our 800% Club dealers all across the United States and Canada. No matter where you're at, you now have a friend in the car business. Okay, with all that out of the way, I'm ready to introduce you to the one and only, the amazing Kim Walsh Phillips. Before I do, though, check this out.
1 year of using Facebook marketing, we grew our email list to over 21,000 email addresses. 1 year of using Facebook, we grew our revenue 327%.
Kim is a direct response social media expert, and she just co-authored a book with Dan Kennedy, and it's called The No BS Guide to Direct Response Social Media Marketing. And Kim and her company is responsible for, check this out, over $1 billion generated online.
What I'm going to show you is a Facebook campaign funnel that we set up that's passive income. I got to tell you, nobody really is looking for more information. What they're looking for is how it's going to make their life better. I don't have to spend any time doing it. It runs automatically.
You're a mom.
Absolutely.
And you're thinking, okay, how can I make Facebook and all these other social media platforms work for me?
70% of all businesses on social media see no return on their investment. I thought the secret to my success was working harder and harder. Unfortunately, it was just getting me more and more broke. And when I had my daughter, I couldn't do that anymore. So if you are copying what other people are doing, you are most likely copying a campaign that isn't working. So don't do that anymore.
Over the last couple years that we've been doing this, she has averaged a 500% return for our dollars that we spend on Facebook.
I asked you to visualize what $3,000 a month more could do. What could you do with it?
You were that person who was struggling.
I was really struggling. I had to do something different. And I did that because I know what I'm sharing with you can bring you more than $3,000 a month. I want you to picture the outcome. For those of you who are working really hard and not getting the results that you need or that you deserve or that your family deserves, it's time to do something different.
It's time to do something different. Miss Kim Walsh Phillips. Kim, where I come from, when I meet somebody like you, where I come from, here's what we say. We say, dude, You are straight gangster. Kim Walsh Phillips is a straight up gangster, dude. No doubt about it. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. And that video was like the Wayback Machine. I think that was 10 years ago. And I was like, what? Like exciting. What was up with my hair? I was thinking all the things. I told that company that was at the end. I'm like, well, that was interesting. It was good. It was a good flashback today.
I like going back in the archives every once in a while, because when we go back in the archives, then we can see that, like, you've been putting in the work.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of times people, they're like, oh, this is the flash in the pan. They're just here today, gone tomorrow. But that's not you. You've been putting in the work for a long time. Kim, you are, for really lack of a better word, you're a freaking gangster. That's the way I look at it. So where the heck do you come from? Like, who built this gangster Kim Walsh Phillips we got here with us this morning?
I mean, Glenn, you and I have very similar backgrounds, as I'm sure a lot of people on here. There were influences in my life that drove me to work hard and achieve more, because good things happen when I did and bad things happen when I didn't. And so I'm grateful for all of that. And it brought me to a place of wanting to serve. And that brought me to a place of working way too much all the time. So much so that when that first book that you just saw in that video was published, I ended up in the hospital for 2 months because I got such bad pneumonia from being so overworked. And I knew I needed a better way. So when I finally figured out how to stop working more but start making more, then that's when became my mission. And I sold my first company so I could focus on sharing with other entrepreneurs how to do what I did.
Stop working more and to start making more. Those are powerful words to come right out the gate. And so you talked about, you had a book earlier, you had a company earlier, you sold that company. You've got a book that's coming out today. And I want to dive right into that. And then you and I are going to take this on, we're going to go on a journey today for sure. But right out the gate, I want to learn more about the book. So you have a book launching today. Tell us about the book. I'm very excited for you.
It is The Shift, how to scale your business and multiply your wealth without sacrificing you. And the whole concept around this book is that the wealthiest people in the world do not get paid by the hour. The wealthiest people in the world are accumulating wealth and impact while they sleep. How do you do that? How do you take your value and expand it in a way that allows you to earn revenue without having to put in physical labor? I didn't know any better. I saw the only way my parents brought in more capital, more cash, paid for a vacation, was my dad to pick up side hustles. I grew up that way, as many of us did, but there is such a better way. In fact, if you want to 10x your income and impact, can you really 10x your hours? Could you 10x the hours worked? If the answer is no, or if you sometimes fantasize about getting into a car accident so you could have a break, as so many of the people do that I talk to, there is a different way that things can work. And I'm on a mission to show people it's not about burning yourself out. It's about creating massive value and impact. So in this book, I give you not just the stories around it, which are a lot of fun, and it's not even just the playbook of how to do it. I actually give you exercises so you take every single strategy to get it to the finish line. Yeah.
That is super, super strong. So if I want to pick up the book, I got to go where?
Go to theshiftbookbonus.com, theshiftbookbonus.com. It's available on every retailer, but if you go there, you'll be able to not only get the book, but get over $3,000 worth of bonuses. And that great, the 10X followers program you went through, Glenn, we include it as a bonus with the book. So you get to have that program as well.
Okay. All right. So here's what I'm gonna do this real quick. I normally don't do production stuff during, because I'm not good at this.
This is back of house happening in front of house.
This is back of house happening in front of house. Okay. So do it for me one time. The Shift
Book Bonus.
.com. theshiftbookbonus.com. Just like that, right? Okay.
Yep.
So I'm going to drop this. I'm going to scoot it over here real quick. And then I'm going to switch to this screen. And look, people are going to be able to see it just like that right there. The Shift book bonus. Oh, look at that. It looks great right there. Beautiful. TheShiftBookBonus.com. I don't know about all that, but we are there. Okay, good. So that's where they can go, and I'll give you guys that site again later. I'm sure Dora Maria will drop it because she's amazing, and all of the things. So what you just shared right there, I think, is really important, and maybe people don't tap into it enough, because I've learned that as well. Like, it's not, we have to stop trading time for money, first of all. And those that are truly building wealth, it is not an exchange of time. Now, don't get me wrong, they work their tail off, right? Like, they work their tail off, but it's very intentional work, purposeful work. Maybe that work is mental work. Maybe that work is physical work. Maybe that work is, it's not the work that we think when we think of working. But it's fascinating how once you start kind of making that shift, you're like, okay, I need to exchange value for money, not exchange time for money. And how can I increase my value? And how can I expand to where I'm able to do more with less is really how that works. It's pretty fascinating. So tell me this, Kim, why this book? Why did you write this book, and like, why now? Because you've known these things for a while. You've been exploring these things, experiencing these things. You've built wealth. You've built influence. You've built all of those things. So why this book? And I think even more importantly, why now in 2023? Why are you launching this particular book?
When I first went through my own shift from working all the time to figuring out how I was going to leverage my value, I literally heard a God whisper that this is the story you will tell. So it was over a decade I knew this would be, and I was just waiting. I'm patiently waiting. And it was truly through the pandemic, because never was there a time where people were struggling. They were used to relying upon going out and going to a networking event and getting a new client, or relying upon word of mouth and referrals. And they couldn't do that anymore. And they also discovered they actually wanted to spend more time with their family. And they came out of that period of time like, I liked that life. They liked being home for dinner. They liked being more present. And then the hustle, the movement, the pace started picking up again when we came back, and people started to struggle. In fact, a recent report came out that 92% of business owners say that they are overwhelmed and burned out. So there has never been a better time. I believe this book is the answer to not only stop the burnout, but bring families back together, give people a space that they can take care of their health, that they can take care of their goals, connect with their spirituality. There is a way to have all of those elements, to have a lifestyle business and an empire business at the same time. So yeah, this is now the time for this book.
You are so speaking my language. You can have it all, folks. I know you've been told you have to sacrifice one to get the other, but that's absolutely not the truth. And I'm with you. I think that this season has opened some eyes. Like, this COVID thing was kind of crazy, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Like,
people connected and explored and said, if everything looked differently, what would I want? What would I want? And that's like the greatest question. If we gave ourselves permission to dream, not about I don't want you to even think, how do I make what I have better? Let's get out of that space. Let's get out of the how do I make what I have better. Let's get into a space of, if I could create my life to look like anything I wanted, what would that be? What would that be? So when we start from that space, we can then work backwards to say, okay, and what do I do next in order to make that happen?
So let's I want everybody to do that right now. Okay. So those of you that are on Facebook, those of you YouTube, Twitter, you can drop it into a tweet. I believe I'm still learning that platform over there, Kim. It's different, but I want you to ask yourself that question, right? So if I could do anything, be anything, what would I want to do? And I think you're right, Kim, that something about this whole pandemic thing caused us all to really start to ask, like, am I doing well? For me personally, here's how it was for me. For me, it started with, am what I'm doing like sustainable? Like, is my family out of danger? If the world goes to, is my family okay? Like, that was the first thought, right? And that made me start thinking, okay, well, how much wealth do you actually have to for your family to ultimately be safe? And then the second question is, are all of the things that I'm doing really putting my family on a trajectory to have what it is that we want in life? So my guess is that other people experience that too, which is what you're sharing, right? And this book now taps into how they can make that shift from what they are doing or maybe have always been doing to what's possible, right? Nathaniel Banks says, I'm so glad to have finally got my social media Facebook platform back. I missed connecting with you all. Oh, that was a different thing. Tarika says, I want to retire now. She says, I would want to sing, but lessons would be helpful. Go sing, girl. Yeah. Go sing. It's 2023. Like, the lessons are everywhere. You could learn from someone in Singapore how to sing, right, Kim?
One of my coaching clients, you can look her up right now. Her name is Von Zell Solomon. She's from American Idol season 4. American Idol season 4. She was one of the finalists, and she teaches voice lessons online. Find her right now and go sign up.
There it is. Beautiful, right? There it is. Beautiful. So I love the question. I love the book. We, this week, have been talking a little bit about atomic habits. And I know you and I talked last week about this a little bit. So share with these folks, how does that fit in to what you're doing with your book, the awakening that you're helping people have? How do these tiny little micro decisions feed into that? And I think really what you just shared with Tarika might be a part of that. But talk to me about how that fits.
I love Atomic Habits, and it was one of my cornerstone books that I read while I was going through my own shift. Because the idea behind a shift is that we are slightly moving, right? We don't try to go from here to a complete 180 because that's not sustainable. And he talks about these micro habits that we connect with something we're already doing. One of the James Clear thoughts that I love is called an anchoring. We anchor a new behavior to a behavior we already have. So for example, let's say you're like, okay, I love this idea. And I know that one of the things I need to do is to grow an email list, right? Whether it's for your nonprofit, your company, or someone you work for, you want to start to grow your email list. You're like, but I don't know how. Maybe you decide you're going to start to connect with 5 people a day on LinkedIn, just 5. You're going to start to grow your network by connecting with people on LinkedIn. Well, how do you get that habit to stick? How do you become somebody who connects with people on LinkedIn? You put that behavior right before a behavior you're already doing. So let's say every morning when you open up your laptop, you check your email. You start a new habit that right before you check your email, you connect with 5 people on LinkedIn. You put that behavior, you anchor it right before another behavior you have. Or let's say you want to start getting more steps in your day, which was one of my goals. I now do 20,000 steps a day. You know how
Nice.
I start? I park the farthest spot away in the parking lot. That's it. That was a habit I could put in easily. I didn't have to put working out in ahead of time. I could just park in the farthest away spot and walk that way. We take something we're already doing and we build our new goal into it so it becomes habit as well.
Yeah, I love that, right? Habit stacking. And then you just start layering those things on top of each other. I do with our kids, right? We brush teeth right before we go to bed. So how do I get my kids to brush their teeth every night? Well, we do it right before they go to bed. So they know, right? And how do I get my kids to go to bed? Most of them. We do play some whack-a-mole at my house every night. It's like bopping different kids that are coming out of their rooms. But they know when we brush teeth, the next step is going to be that we do, as a family, we do gratitude. Everybody does gratitude. And then one thing that we love about a different kid, each night. And then we go into going to bed. So it's stacking all those things together to be able to create those habits and create those results. Kim, some of this stuff sounds really easy, right? We just do a couple little things. We think outside the box. We stop trading time for money. All that sounds easy. It sounds freaking awesome. So what's the hard? What is the hard in this? What have you discovered is the hard in your journey?
I have taken on this philosophy. I used to say, I'm so proud I could do hard things. That used to be like my motto. I can do hard things. And then one day it hit me. I'm like, that thought is not serving me well, because thinking of everything as hard feels so heavy, right? What if instead I'm someone who creates the identity of, I make going after my goals easy? What if I did that? What if I started to think about, how can I make all of my goals super easy? Now, that part I find really easy. I'm gonna tell you the hard part for me, because I do have one part that's hard. It's believing, and I'll get emotional when I say it, believing that I'm worthy of the work. That's the part that I struggle with the most, because I think that ingrained thought of, I can do hard things, I can deal with hard situations, I can fight my way out of it, I can find a solution. A lot of my body, soul, and spirit felt like that's because that's what I deserve. That's who I was created to be. And so the identity part that I'm working on right now is that, what if I am someone who actually deserves joy? What if I'm someone who deserves calm and peace, and I wasn't actually created to be in chaos and fighting? That's the deep work that I'm working on right now, that I believe on the other side of that helps me step into who I was actually created to be. Not someone who has to be looking out for the next fight, but instead someone who gets to sit in the joy that was given to me as a gift and look at the opportunities that exist on the other side. So as I accomplish my goals the easy way, I'm going to be doing the hard work on my mindset to really discover who I was created to be.
What do you think has stimulated that in you? Recently, you and I shared some messages about kind of having our eyes opened and awakening and starting to see the world in a very unique way. And I think the reason this conversation is important is you've been successful for a long time. And I've had a lot of success for, quite a while, over 15 years now. But yet we're still turning pages and like discovering like brand new crap, right? And so talk to me about that.
This is the thing. So y'all, I did not think I was going to get like my Oprah moment with you, Glenn. But it was about a month ago. I think the timeline has become so weird. It's just weird. And Glenn shared a story of his childhood of a dad who used a very strong form of punishment. And in that, and I had to go on right after him too. And in that conversation, it unlocked a lot of childhood trauma that I had really suppressed. It also unlocked a lot of present day stuff that I was going through. And it's weird, y'all. When that happens, it's like this darkness goes away and a light shines and you start to look at your whole life differently. And I want you to imagine that happening while you're in a book launch called The Shift. So it's like a very public, I call this my awakening, a very public awakening, while I'm literally going about in a book with that same topic. And I don't think that's an accident. And this whole discovery of, if those of us that fight for it, what if we weren't created to fight? What if we were created to sit in peace and calm and joy? What would it look like? The fact that I had that discovery a month ago because of your share, Glenn, shows me that that was a message that I needed to get before I went on this book launch tour. It's been insanity. Like, I've done so much deep work with, I hired a coach. I already had a life coach I've been meeting with. I'm doing all the work that I need to do to get to the other side of this. It is not fun, but it is incredibly important. And it's something that I am willing to get to the other side on.
So the biggest lie, what is the biggest lie that you've discovered you've been telling yourself this whole time?
Oh, that I deserve to be treated poorly because I can handle it. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Something tells me you're not alone in that.
Yeah. And I don't, and neither do you. We don't deserve to be treated poorly. We don't deserve to be that, like, what I've uncovered is that kids of trauma tend to be full of grace for others because we believe that we can have that grace, because we can do that for that other person because they need it in that moment. And that's not actually what God called us to do. He called us to love a lot of people, but we don't need to be the person who is the target of that other person. We don't need to give them an outlet to feel better by being mean to us.
And we're not required to carry other people's burdens, right? Like I'm with you on that. Like, just started to realize, like, wait a minute, like, it doesn't have to be so dang hard, and it doesn't, like, that, like everyone says, well, life's a roller coaster and it's ups and downs, and you have to go through, the crap, and even Les Brown, the great Les Brown, who I love and adore. He's one of my favorite humans on the planet. But even Les Brown, he says, you're either in a problem, headed to a problem, or coming out of a problem, right? Like, and that's how he describes life. And for 45 years, I would align with that and agree with that. But most recently, I'm like, that's bull. That's crap. It doesn't have to be that way, right?
It doesn't have to be that way. And I mean, here's the thing. A lot of my conversations has been with my pastor, and he like unlocked something for me. He said, why do you think why do you think we feel contentment when we're happy? Why do you feel fulfilled when you're happy? God gave us that on purpose because we are meant to seek that feeling. That is a good feeling. That is not a bad feeling. So if we feel that feeling is bad, there's probably a reason why. And we get to look at that, figure out, is that a feeling I want to keep?
Yeah.
Like, where do I want to go with that?
Yeah. Pretty amazing. What do you think, Kim, in your experience? You've met a lot of people, you've been in a lot of places, you've done a lot of things. What do you think? What do you think, like, stops people from having that breakthrough moment, right? Like, not just that you've experienced breakthroughs in your life. This is a new one. This is another level, right? And I get that, because you and I are like running the same gauntlet here. What would you say from your conversations and from those, because you're impacting millions of people around the world? What would you say is the major thing that keeps most people from having that awareness or that breakthrough moment?
They worry about what other people are going to think about them. They are known as a certain person. They have a certain identity. People are comfortable with that identity. And the number one thing they think about is, what will people think of them if that identity shifts? Will they still be loved? Will they still be cared for? Will they still be acknowledged? Will they still have their place in community? And it's really uncovering that belief that they are worthy of stepping into the person that they were created to be. None of that thought process is easy. So y'all, every one of you who loves helping people break through that head trash, I got to tell you, you can't make that your beginning message, because most people aren't in a space of being willing to go like super deep and unlock all the things.
Yeah.
But we all need to. So we have to, like what Glenn does, what I do, what we seek is to help people solve a problem that they have right now, whatever that problem is right now, so that we can do that hard work with them later, because every single one of us has a thing. Everybody has a messy past. And when we can start to dive into that, we can actually step into that next phase that we were always created for.
That is so valuable. I hope you guys are taking notes at home on what Kim just shared right there. That's so, in my automotive with 800% Club, my dealers come to me and they're like, I don't have enough leads. I'm not selling enough cars. I'm not making enough money. I don't know how to do social media. They come to all these things, and I'm like, great. I can help. Come on, let me show you. And then we get them in, and we do all the talk, all the car stuff, and we talk. And I go over their websites, and we show them this thing that we can do on social, and we get them a result, we get them a win. And as soon as we get them a win, then it's like, okay. So the real thing we need to work on is you've got some leadership issues that we need to fix. You've got some culture issues that we need to fix, right? But nobody wants to hear that crap up front. They want to know that I'm going to get them some more leads and I'm going to sell them some more cars. And we have to build those relationships. So I love that you shared that, because you can't until trust is built, right? Really, you have to build the trust, and you build the trust through providing a service that gets them a solution for what they think they need and want.
Yeah. And
then we can start going and pulling back the layers. It's like Shrek, right? It's like, he's like, I've got a lot of layers, right? That onion's got a lot of layers that we have to peel. I love that you're doing this work. I love that you took time out of all of the things that you could be doing. You took time to write a book and to write a book that's going to help people shift and really to change their identity to be able to get a different result. And so I am grateful for you for doing the work, for doing the hard, and for reminding us all that it doesn't have to be work, and it doesn't have to be hard. It's supposed to be purposeful and joyful. And when we step into that space, that's when we start to make an impact on millions and millions of people all around the world, just like you're doing. So Kim, we're going to probably head over to Twitter, and something tells me you and I will keep talking over there if anybody wants to come join us. I want everyone to go grab Kim's book. Do it now. The ShiftBookBonus.com. The ShiftBookBonus.com. Go grab a copy. Go grab 10 copies. Go grab 50 copies. Go grab copies. I'm going to order 50 copies, and I'm going to distribute them to some of my clients. That's what I'm going to do this morning. So go grab one for yourself, one for a friend, one for a family member, one for someone that you love and want to be able to make a positive impact in their life. Everybody grab copies. If you own businesses, get them for your employees. Teams that read together tend to win together. I'm just saying.
Well, and a quick side note, that's all amazing. I actually have bonuses for everyone who does that, because if you do a book club with your group or you buy in bulk, you'll find at the Shift Book and the ShiftBookBonus.com. There's bonuses for you if you do buy a bunch of books, and I'll show up for you in your group. So check that one out too. Glenn, this was amazing. I did not know we were going to go so deep. Thank you for launching my book launch day into an emotional puddle. Super great. I so appreciate you, and I absolutely adore the work that you do, and I'm so grateful you're in my life. Thank you for having me on today.
Well, thank you. And before we head over to Twitter, first, I want to tell you that I love you. I do. I absolutely stinking love you. So thank you for sharing this space with me. And I'm going to put you up on top of a mountain real quick. Okay. All right. So you're up on top of a mountain. Mm-hmm. You ever seen the movie iRobot? Mm-mm. Okay. So you're on top of a mountain, and all of civilization is at the base of the mountain. All of civilization, 7.9 billion people. All right. They're all there. You're on the top of a mountain. Somebody walks over to you, hands you a microphone, and says, Kim Walsh Phillips, you have 2 minutes to give them something that they can take away. Practical application, some information that they can take with them from this moment. What are you going to tell them?
My sweet, beautiful friend, you are loved. You are here on purpose, and you were created to thrive. And if what you're currently experiencing doesn't feel like thriving, I want you to think of one person in your life who has a life that you'd be willing to trade places with, and ask that person, what is one thing that they do that you can start doing today to give yourself a life of beautiful joy, peace, and calm so you can have the life that you were always created for.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Joy, peace, and calm, not normally words associated with super high levels of success. And that's the key, is how we can have both. You can have joy, peace, and calm and super high levels of success. That was absolutely awesome. Kim Walsh Phillips, I love you, sister. You are amazing. We're going to head over to Twitter Spaces. Ramon's texting me, StreamYard, all this stuff. I don't know, but we're going to keep this conversation rolling. For those of you that are watching on replay, make sure you go grab the book. Make sure you connect with Kim Walsh Phillips, by the way. Make sure you do that. Follow her on all the socials, and I'll be back here at 5:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. We're going to do this all over again on #Rise and Grind. You guys have an incredible day. Thanks for joining us. See ya.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. #Rise and Grind, #Rise and Grind. First thing on my mind, early in the morning time. Daily motivation, feeling so divine.
This is the part, Kim, where I wish I had like a, I wish I would have had like a, you probably emailed me one. I needed like a cover for your book. It needs to be like right here. Here, take your book. Do you have your book? Just take your book. Just hold it like, yeah, right there. Perfect. And like, I'm going to shift it over. There it is right there. Perfect. And this will be like the little out right here. It's just you. See? And everybody can hear me talking about this, by the way, as we're doing this. So they can hear, they can see. There it is, the shift. Make sure you guys go get it. Oh my God.